Okay, my reputation's kind of on the line with this bait. I'm gonna build it. It's gonna get sent off to a private, unfished, amazing, I think it's a lake, that's likely never been fished before, full of monstrous pike that feed on grayling, potentially that large, 16 inches. I'll probably take it to the river and give it a go in the waters around here in the middle of winter. So I'm gonna build this thing like a tank. I do not want it breaking while someone else is fishing it. I don't care if my baits break while I fish them. I do care if they break while other people fish them. More on that later. A different YouTube channel will be fishing with this monstrosity of an Arctic grayling. A little bit of fun facts on the Arctic grayling. World record 8.4 pounds, 30 inches, twice the length of this. You know, I could have went for world record size Arctic grayling, but this is my longest piece of Tupelo wood, and I'm gonna have to like line this up diagonally to even make this fit on this piece of Tupelo wood like that. And you can kind of see this wood grain. It's tight right here, but then it fans out, so it's gonna actually go pretty good with the body of this bait. That's something you need to concern yourself with when making lures. Direction of wood grain, have it go lengthwise with the body of the bait. There's a place to go with all of the rest of the possible information that you would need to know about lure making wooden lures. Not just that, it has all the templates I've ever designed and will design, full of official bait makers. It's got the official bait maker community, a place where I'll be adding content for the rest of my life. Critical bait making, information, support, community. It's called Fish With Your Masterpiece, linked below. One single payment, lifetime access, can't beat it. Join now. You can still be an OG. It's pretty new still. Any hoozy. I snuck that in quick. Back to fun facts. Thymolis arctis is their Latin name, and it's named that because of the herb thyme, which they have the faint smell of, apparently. Weird looking fish. And they're only weird looking because of the ridiculous dorsal fin coming from the top. Otherwise, they look like a pretty normal fish. This is a trout with a ridiculous dorsal fin. A beautiful one at that too. Probably the most beautiful dorsal fin of any fish in existence the Arctic grayling has. Hopefully talk like Yoda, I don't, for the rest of fun facts these. Yeah, I can't even do it. Don't worry, I'm not gonna do that. These fish are becoming more and more widespread. They're being stocked in ponds and lakes and lots of places towards the west in America here. They're in Canada. They're as far south as Arizona, I'm pretty sure. Oh yeah, it says it right there. They're as far south as Arizona. They go all the way north into Canada. I'm in Iowa and I know of some stockings that have happened around here with the Arctic grayling. We'll see how they do. They like cold water, large bodies of water, large rivers, large lakes, finding their way up to the rocky streams to do their business, to spawn. They're very, very trout-like. There's not much difference apart from these fish to normal trout. Crustacean insect larvae, that's what they eat. Fish eggs. Biggest difference has to do with that ridiculous dorsal fin. The males like to flaunt them. They're territorial. Wikipedia words something just so crazily that I have to repeat it word for word right now. These fins are also used to brace receptive females during the vibratory release of, I'm just gonna stop right there. But something interesting after that happens and the eggs are fertilized and stuff, the fish are non-guarders of their eggs. They just drop into the silt and they say, see ya. They don't excavate a nest. They don't prepare anything. They just, good day. Although the highly energetic courtship of this process tends to stir up a lot of debris and silt, and it kicks it all up, and then once the eggs are ready, they fall along with the silt and kind of get covered, and then they're all good. So that's all the protection these eggs get, is the settling of the debris from the act. That's it. And then they hatch after 2 or 3 weeks. They'll be like a ½ of an inch of a fish. Tiny little Arctic grayling. They grow into an average size Arctic grayling in about 2 years. They grow fast, apparently. The fish conservators consider this fish secure. Not a ton of efforts are made to guard the population, unless you're in an area where they're kind of going down in population. Like some animal somewhere's dying, you know, at that geographical spot. At those spots, efforts are always being made to make sure more of those animals have a better chance. Humans like to do that. Apparently they're good eating. They're raised commercially for food. I'd like to eat an Arctic grayling someday. Yep, short little Wikipedia page. Not much going on except that dorsal fin, really. The males will have the colorful ones, so this is gonna be a male Arctic grayling. They get bigger than that too. They can be just I don't want to go too big because it's going to mess up the action of this bait. We're going to make that big female Corton substrate disturbing fin beautiful on this male. Fun facts are over. Y'all might remember Addison. I gave him a couple jerk baits, bumped into him by the Mississippi. We caught some brown trout. It was incredible actually. We thought we both caught the same trout. It was huge. So he made me this. I probably shouldn't spill the beans before I unbox it. But he made me this and brought it over. Thank you, Addison and Michaela. They put a video out on making this. It's linked below too. Go watch it if you want to see some awesome taxidermy. That's sweet.
Its face when you went to pick it up out of the net.
Say, listen, there is no free easy on. Except I gave you a rundown every single church you ever heard. So you run down physical church of every verse you ever heard about it. And tell me what the reason you found out. This is not wait. It's not wait. Let's talk. Don't find anything else. Keep waiting behind.
Just slicing on the line, and we're gonna come back and cut to the line. I like that gill pattern. It kind of disappears on the top. I'll fade that out with some good painting. Dude, that top fin's gonna be ridiculous. This is a whole piece I have to carve in itself. Get the top tapered, still thick on the bottom. I went with the open mouth look on purpose, obviously on purpose. I don't know how I could go with that look accidentally. I'm just so excited about this stuff that I have to tell you now, even though I'm nowhere near this point. Fish tooth. It's like a two-part epoxy taxidermy thing where you go in with like a toothpick or something and like pull up and it makes a point and makes it look like a fish tooth. I'm gonna try that on this bait. I think the clear coat should envelop it nicely and protect it. So look forward to that. I'll just be carving gills until then. Actually, I don't know when I should do that step. Should it be like after I paint the bait? Like right before clear coat? Because I want it to be that color, you know? Probably. A little premature divulging of my excitement right there. Happens to the best of us. This is a big bait, so I'm feeling confident giving these gills some super deep carvings. I like going deep with the carvings. Like we almost have an 1/8 inch of prominence right there.
Hey.
Yo.
Everything looks good. The only thing
So that's pretty sweet. Those are all slotted up. We got dorsal, this weird little fin back here, and that anal fin and tail fin to do. Each one of these fins need to be sanded, tapered, kind of like how you saw with the tail fin. A lot of work with these big boys. These cuts right here are more just so that my Dremel bit stays where it needs to stay. Because I can't go like as deep as I would need to go with just a carving knife. This bait's so big I keep knocking stuff over with it. I wish I had eyeball camera. Like what I see with my eyes is what you guys see. It'd make this so much easier. There's one. All right, I sanded and sanded and sanded. Down to 320, time to cut the bait in half. I always get the ends to meet at the V on both sides, but in the middle there's wood still attached. And then just don't touch the sides and keep cutting. Perfect. Bunch of different size lead holes in this thing. We're gonna do a big honking 25mm back here, right in the middle. I'm using those Forstner bit edges to score where they're gonna be so I can line them up and space them out just a little bit. That's where they will all be. That's a lot of holage. I might not need to go too deep on these. I'll probably need to go deeper on this because there's things impeding where I can put lead. Particularly an anal fin. Can fit a couple of 10mm back here. I just go for pretty even weight distribution, increasing the diameter of the lead hole as the thickness of the bait increases. Sort of stay away from the joint. I want the weight distributed end to end for longer glides, not a faster action. Let's start drilling. I think that will be enough. Those are some big holes. Looking good. I gotta seal this before I put the lead in because I want to be able to test it as I put the lead in. So I'm gonna get to sealing. We got quite a bit of bait to seal. Happy to have this thing carved out. That was a lot. Goodness. I have to blow on it to even see what I'm doing. Wow. That's a lot of lead. I'm trying to get everything situated to where it's a super tight fit for these big beefy screw eyes on the joint connection before I test. I'm going through lead, that's why it's difficult. Lots of lead. Like I need it to be able to friction fit pretty tight, but still be able to pull it out like that. And I'll fill that hole with epoxy before I do the final glue up, and we'll have a good fit. Ooh, that lead's still hot. Okay. I used this silicone glue. It's like a tacky silicone glue to try to just kind of hold these fins in place while I test. But we're about to test. This one just fell out. Okay, I think if this thing floats, I'm gonna cry. Not a lot of room to add more lead. Woo, it sinks. It sinks head first. It's got a pretty fast sink rate too, so I'm definitely going to drill some lead out of the front piece. Most likely right there in the big one. That removed quite a bit. All right, much slower sink rate. Man, that top fin is such a stabilizer for this bait. It's not gonna have much of a swim. It's still going down head first. That might not be the case when I get the big hooks on it. Let's see what it does with the big hooks on it. I'm gonna send it out with these chunky, what are these, like 4/0 owner hooks of some sort. That increases the sink rate a little bit. I can see it wanting to swim. This is a super short line that I'm testing it with, and usually with a longer line it wants to swim better. I'm gonna take a little bit more out of the head. That's all the lead we took out of this bait, like a 1/2 ounce. Just making sure none of that is getting on the floor for Chip to lick up. So I tried it out again, and this thing comes in just like a missile, perfectly straight. And I think it's that extremely large top dorsal fin stabilizing everything, not letting that front piece do stuff. I mean, you guys saw a bunch there. Pretty actionless. We're going to make this jointed and connect it to the body. I have done this type of thing before. It's like the first bird I've heard all winter. How exciting. It requires some pretty accurate drilling though. I'm gonna use some tiny twist wires for the dorsal fin. This one back here is having to go in at an angle because of the screw eye in the joint. I'm thinking I'll be able to push those in on the final glue up though, to where everything sits pretty flush. It'll be finicky like it is now, but we just need this dorsal fin to do that, yet also be securely attached to the body. On long casts, there's gonna be quite a bit of force exerted when it hits the surface of the water on this fin, so it needs to be secure. Let's just try it out like this though. Maybe we can confirm the action will be good right now. Yeah, that's actually gonna work really good. Especially fishing for pike, you'll move it faster because it's a more aggressive fish. And this thing's gonna be flapping around beautifully. Okay, I'm confident it will work. I made sure more than I normally do that it works. That just made it like 20 times cooler too, that the top fin does that. It will work and it's really cool. That works great. Silicone glue. This needs to dry. I'm gonna put some super glue in each one of these lead holes and let that set as well. That way the lead's not moving around. I think I can be confident with that fit. Oh my goodness. It'll be a good fit. Oh, I forgot I screwed that one in. I pulled pretty hard there. Other than that, yeah, I'm just gonna cover these lead holes and I'll see you guys when it's ready to paint. This is a crazy paint scheme. That was a lot. I mean, this thing is the same size as the Roman-made Mother Chaser knockoff that I tried to make. This thing's gonna be so much nicer though. Starting with gray. All right, I'm gonna start putting down some pretty intense colors. Get some depth going. Sienna. Boy, doesn't that just scream grayling? I think we're gonna do brown now on the top. Burnt umber to be more sophisticated. From what I've seen of a bunch of different pictures of grayling, these things have these warm undertones, warm colors, and then scales that completely ignore that, and like cold tone scales over the warm undertones. And they can look really different. They don't all look the same. Like some of them have red spots on the dorsal fin and others have blue. I don't know if that's a male-female thing or what. But no clue what the lake is that this thing's gonna be swam around in. I never even asked, I'm just painting it how I want. That is a personality trait of mine. Okay, poopy brown, more poopy brown. Yeah, this is a pink. Gonna hit the gills and then make like, I don't want it to show up so much as a line, just a fading of pink down the middle. That's pretty good. I wanted it dark. They have the darkness down there on the belly, something light, and then go straight into that brownish stuff, sienna stuff. This is just gonna get plastered with like light blue, turquoisey, what else, pinkish, lavenderish scales, very bright. It's gonna look nothing like as dull as it looks right now. Before the first clear coat, look at those scales, man. That is psycho. A little bit of red detail. It's gonna have the red on the dorsal fin and spots, so I want it in the body a little bit. 8-bit Baits Ghost Trout. That's the powder we're putting in here. With laser black glitter. That was a lot to clear. Oh, you guys can't even see me. I attached this one with a C-clamp because this side's so heavy. Couldn't just use a whatever kind of clamp that is. My goodness. Look at the ghost trout. That is so sparkly. Looking pretty good. I looked way worse a couple days ago. Got some bruising down here too. You should see the inside of my mouth. Or you shouldn't, actually. Just warning you, I look like this right now. I had a ridge augmentation in 3 spots. Just exploded my face. Nothing was really that painful. It just turned my head into a balloon. Don't worry, I'm all good. It's quite a few days later. I had to take time to recover. Let's paint this grayling. Put the mesh on it already. Going with bigger scales. It's a bigger bait. I think this mesh is gonna match up nicely though with exactly how these grayling scales need to look. Pearl white. I need to remember what I'm spraying right now. I need to do this on 2 pieces and I don't have enough of these little clamps to do them on 2 pieces at the same time. I got a color called Fairy Pink. It's like lavendery pink. Oh my, wow. Oh wow. That's been happening. Like the dropper end on these have just been exploding off and filling my entire airbrush up with the color when I just need a few drops. It's a good color though. Probably because I'm not poking it with a needle before I start dropping paint in there. Probably my fault. Kind of just swooping down the side right there. I don't want much. Didn't even heat gun that. So much is going over that too. Don't think that this grayling is gonna look pink. Yellow dune, it's like a dirty yellow, and it's gonna follow some of the scales. I'm gonna go scale by scale. I'm not just gonna spray it. Going for random. Random is extremely hard to achieve. Humans were like meant to go off of patterns. Gonna go in there with some shining silver, and hit the areas that I didn't go over in yellow with the silver, and maybe kind of give the whole thing a bit of it too, make that yellow a little less intense. That's pretty intense. Alright, that's pretty good. That yellow's still really intense, but I'll live with it. It'll probably look cool. Yeah, when you flip it, you can really see the difference. I'm doing turquoise and just a straight blue, mixing those two together. And plenty of it, because I got to do the other piece too. I'm hoping the turquoise shows up and the blue shows up at different angles. Probably won't be the case. That's pretty good, I can tell a difference. So I'm looking at picture, and I can tell. Just kind of, did you see I went like that? It kind of hurt my lip. I can tell. Need to not be so expressive. The black dots on a grayling do not line up with the scales. They are so random. They just go anywhere. So I'm gonna spray them after I take the mesh off. That's my reference photo though. Crazy colors on that one. Scale reveal. I'm gonna move the camera instead of the lure. But that did what I wanted. I like that. There's a lot of red coming through still, but when you put those scales in the light, they really take over all the color. And when you take it out of the light, you see all the color. That's really good. So good. Oh my goodness. Okay, finished up the back piece. It's just the same. Looking incredible. I'm happy with how everything looks very consistent. I just had to go with a design that I thought would look good and do it. Not every grayling looks like this. This is a very colorful one. That's good stuff though. Went with the spots going a bit lower, not a ton of them, and I put some white down first that the black's going over. That'll make the black really show up.
No. Okay.
just applying a little bit, and then I rub it horizontally, like that smushes it into the grooves. Just rub it horizontally, fellas. Starting with black on the fins like that though gives them all a really natural start. The color going over that is gonna be kind of pearly, translucent stuff, mostly translucent stuff. This dorsal fin is gonna require the most work though. Looking pretty crazy. That's what a male grayling uses to attract the chickies right there. Giving the pelvic fins some red on the back. There's a bunch of colors on the other fins. Some highlight interference blue on the back fin there. This is the last color right here. We're gonna assemble this thing as much as we can before clear coat. We need an eye. Epo grip, fish tooth, taxidermy stuff, man. Never before seen on the Marling Baits channel. Didn't even read what the working time on this is. I'm just gonna hurry. We're gonna make some fish teeth on this grayling. It's a good color. That's a tooth color. Almost let the black drip in there. That would have been bad. Epo grip. Completely unfamiliar with this product, never used before. Not the kind of thing you want to be doing when you're making a masterpiece like this, but I like to live on the edge. And absolutely no way do I honestly live on the edge, but I do when I try new lure making things, I guess. Oh. I don't think graylings even have this. Remembering back to all the pictures I've seen so far, I'm just trying this. It's gonna be a mean looking grayling. It keeps its shape so good that it's kind of annoying. Because when you pull it from the pile, that it keeps its shape on the toothpick and you have to like come in at the bait with that point down and pull back out. What a ferocious grayling. So I'm really hoping the clear coat envelops all this. Even though it's not a match of realism, it made the mouth way more interesting. It added life to this thing. The eye being put on there, this is coming together. So nice. The eye's next, that's what I was trying to say. That's some 8-bit Baits Sonic color right there. Looks amazing. I took 0.6 ounces. Sorry, haven't talked in a while. That took 0.6 ounces of epoxy to clear coat. That's a lot. The clear coat made the dorsal fin look incredible. Sometimes the really big ones benefit from a bit of torching like that. There's a ton of surface area for the epoxy to need to settle and even out on. That's quite the bait right there. Look at that Sonic shimmering.
her life and his. It was troublesome. You realized that there was natural goodness about her, the same that went for Lou. These two individuals could. That's not the question. The question is, who are you going to be?
First Wednesday of the month. Okay, here's the big connection. It's a bit tight. That's gonna be good. I got squeeze out. It's been 100% confirmed. Grayling don't have teeth. I think they might have teeth, they're just like super soft and small, non-existent. So that's cool. You know what, that just makes the whole bait more interesting. Conversation starter, you know? This is probably the only bait in existence that's a grayling with teeth. Some light. So you can really see my messed up face. This eyelid started swelling. I don't know why. It's poofy. It's like a week later. Here's the finished Arctic grayling, ready to go. Got the super sharp hooks on it, just two. Probably not an adequate amount of hookage on this thing, but are we really dealing with ideals at this point? It's just as you tilt it, you see everything. All that blue and the scalage, all those extra little highlight details within the scales, behind the scales, the fairy dust, the 8-bit bait powders, the highlight powders. Super duper 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 happy with this beast. It's been so long since I've put an action camera on. It's all tangled. How does this thing work? 80-pound snap swivel on 80-pound fluorocarbon on 80-pound braid. Not fooling around. And I'm not going somewhere where it could get bit. We're just testing action. I feel like putting teeth marks in baits. Not saying that I would be able to put teeth marks in this thing, but just even giving it the chance for that to happen isn't good if you're going to give that bait to somebody. I want them to have a fresh, clean, beautiful Arctic grayling. 2-piece swim bait with a jointed dorsal fin. Isn't that what you would want? Look at that dorsal fin just flapping in the wind. That was beautiful. Okay, time to test. I just took too long taking pictures of it. It feels like it's over a pound. Don't lose it, don't lose it, don't lose it, don't lose it. It sinks. It caught a bunch of grunk on the bottom, first cast. So it definitely sinks. That's good. I didn't even want a slow sinking action. I wanted like, it sinks for pike, you know? So I'm gonna move it faster this time. Oh goodness, it swims so good. Oh my goodness, it swims. That looked amazing. Didn't even show you guys. Camera wasn't pointing down. It swims really good. Dude, it's really good. Fish on! Just kidding. That was a joke. Sorry. That probably didn't even fool you. It takes such wide churns. It gets gunk on the hooks in here every time, and it still works really good. Nothing's pulling out. Everything's still solid. Like the dorsal fin teeters and totters. It's so smooth and natural. It looks like I caught a grayling. I'm just trying to see if I can get a fish to come close to it, just to look at it. Okay, I'll go get some better action footage in the test tank. That's a success though. This bait works really well. It's just banging into the tank, side to side. It needs a lot of space to do its thing, which is good. Every time it turns, that dorsal fin flaps to the other side. And that looks really cool in the water too. It's got nice nappy turns to it. I think it'll trigger the aggression in some big fish if they're biting that day. I wouldn't change anything about it. I'm glad I'm not the one trying to catch a fish with it, because I could spend probably 2 weeks and fail with something like this. It's going to a good home. I'll give y'all a heads up in some way, shape or form once the fishing video is out. Hopefully I stop looking like Emperor Palpatine by the next video. That's what Chelsea thinks I look like right now. On to the next bait. Wow, Chip, like I just Emperor Palpatined onto the next bait and Chip got up all excited. Wow. Thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed. On to the next bait. Good day.